How's it going, movie fans? My name is Jonathan, and I am a man of movies. And welcome to the final episode of the Loki live stream, where we will be talking about all things thoughts, spoilers, maybe theories about what the future may hold, about episode 6 for all time, always. Guys, it's a little bittersweet because this is the very last episode of the Loki live stream. We've been here for almost 2 months now, special guest and all. But man, like always, I was never, I could have never done it without this guy right here. What is up, then?
Hi, everybody.
Oh man, this is it then. The last one.
I'm excited. It's a very bittersweet moment, though, like you said.
It is almost 2 months doing it. This is like my first time doing the recaps for the Marvel shows. So I'm guessing this is how you felt when you were doing your Falcon and Winter Soldier and that ended. And
yes, yeah, definitely. In WandaVision especially, that was a long trip. Yeah.
Oh. But right alongside Dan, somebody that wasn't originally another co-host of mine, but made his way in, not just into our live stream, but into our hearts. Jace!
Hey.
What's up?
Jace, you weren't official at first, but you are official now, even though it's the very end.
Yes, I can die happy.
You need to set your priorities straight, my friend.
Are you accusing me of not having my priorities straight when I'm thinking of you first?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
But guys, I think this is awesome, okay? Because our special guest today is another member of the Cinema Squad. He is the resident Cinema Squad jokester. There is nobody else like this man that we are about to introduce to you today. And this is actually his very first live stream. What up, Joe?
It's my time to shine.
All right, thanks for coming on, Joe.
It's
Bye.
fine.
Thank you.
You're popping my streaming virginity.
This is a rated G show or Y or whatever.
Well, it was lovely spending the evening.
Joe, it's awesome to have you on, but even more than that, we have 2/3 of the Cinema Squad on the screen right now. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so
Thank you
cool.
for having me.
Guys, well, we got 17 comments to go through real quick. Oh wow, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Eric Thorpe is in the house. Guys, I know he was only on for one episode, but this would not be the Loki live stream without Eric. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
I think
Hi, Eric.
Oh, yes. Yes. We appreciate you, Eric.
Yep.
And he says, I wonder what will happen in episode 7. Any predictions?
See, I'm actually tempted to say something, but we're not in spoilers yet, so I can't.
Yes, sir.
And coming from right across the room from me is my wife.
Hi, Francis.
All right, let's see. Who else is in here? Of course, Mr. Sean Jackson himself, lost in the reel. Can't believe we are already at the end. Yeah.
It's rushed by.
We call it bittersweet, but there's nothing sweet about this. I don't know. It's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. All right, a lot of comments. Eric, Dan the man.
Hey.
Dan is the man.
Hey, John, he finally said hey to me, unlike last week. And then Dan, wow. Why is she saying this?
Probably woo. Probably woo. Maybe.
Dan, where were you the other day?
I think it's because he's clean shaven and he has that baby face.
Yeah.
I know. This is Dan from another timeline. You just popped in. Clean shaven man.
Sure, you're glowing right now, Dan.
Thank you.
JC face.
Hi, John.
Jace up in the place.
That's him.
Joe the bro. Everybody's coming
Oh,
up with these weird. I don't get it.
Bro Joe.
Oh my God, it's Joe. He makes my skin melt. Joe.
Oh, stop it, William. Hey, you're blushing a minute.
Oh, you're already stealing all the attention, dude. We should just make this the Joe live.
Well, I'm making up for my time at
Give
the
him the
office.
camera. Give him the camera.
Hey,
He
Francis.
Oh my God, it's Joe. Paul Tams, guys.
Yes, Paul.
What's up, bro? You know, it'd be 12 a.m. here in the UK, but I couldn't miss the finale stream. Paul, thank you so much for being here, bro. I think that's it for now. So without any further ado, guys, we're going to get right into our general thoughts of the season finale. And I want to get to my friend, Joe.
Well, I had the advantage of going into this with my work colleague telling me he didn't like it. So I was going into this thinking, oh no, why didn't he like it? And he gave it a 5 out of 10. And I was like, oh God. And I watched it during lunch. And I don't know what he was talking about. I thought it was really, really good. It reminded me of Game of Thrones in the fact that the episodes before the finale were always action-packed and crazy and always balls to the walls, like the previous episode was with Elias and all the different Lokis. And this one was just a bit more grounded and a bit more political, and I like that. And that's what he didn't like. He didn't like the talking aspects and the whole. Yeah, he didn't even know who he was. He didn't know that was. He was like, "Who was that guy that was in the lift?" And I was like, "Hmm." So I was like, "No wonder you didn't like it. He just thought it was a random guy from a supermarket that was just in there." Like I got off at the wrong stop. So, but yeah, I really generally enjoyed it, and I watched it again today, and it gets better because you can literally pick things out, and when you actually listen to a lot of the writing and what's being said, and actually the repercussions, spoiler free, that happen come the end, it makes it even better for me.
Okay, that's cool. Let's go to Dan.
So this show, I wasn't so into it, at first. I don't know. I didn't like, they were okay, but it was missing something for me. And then the 4th and 5th episode, I thought were, really good. And then we get to this finale, and I loved it. I loved this episode. This is like one of my favorite Loki episode, but also one of my favorite MCU Disney Plus shows.
I agree.
Yeah, it was just so good. I loved the talking aspect of it, and yes, there was a lot of exposition, but I thought it was done right. And it gave us a lot to look forward to for the future.
Jace.
Definitely not very far off from what everyone's saying. I think because of the fact that I had so much fun with all the Lokis of last episode and Richard E. Grant and stuff like that, if I had to just immediately say favorite episode, I wouldn't say this is my favorite. I would say this is my second favorite. But just because it's not my favorite does not mean anything negative whatsoever. It's just that there is just more, as we were saying, exposition to this. But like Dan said, done the right way. Mm-hmm. So I was okay with that. I did think my first time around that it felt like it went a bit slow. But then at the same time, I think that's just because you're just anticipating, waiting for something to happen. And really, it's not actually that it's slow. It's building up the tension. And I really appreciated that. I thought that was really cool. And it was nice to have as many reveals as we did whilst still being left with a lot of questions, but in a good way. Like, you're not left with the same questions. You got stuff answered. Now a new set of questions for the future.
This is the first time, I think, in a TV show where you have an episode that has so much implications for what the rest of the MCU is going to be looking like in the future. And yet at the very same time, feel like a filler episode. So I'm on the fence here. I don't hate it. I don't feel like your friend, Joe. Don't stab me, please. I'm just a young boy.
I was just taking notes. I meant no violence, but carry on.
I don't feel like your friend in the fact that I hated this episode.
Oh,
if I had to say, I think I really did like this episode, but I feel like it was just way too expository for my liking, and I wish that we could have gotten more. There were times where certain characters would explain, or I should say, answers questions that we have been having for all season, and instead of maybe showing us a flashback sequence or a cool sequence, I should say, instead we get like this really weird CGI blob figures, and not a spoiler, but these blob figures forming, this could have been a really cool flashback sequence. And that was the moment where I said, oh man, like nothing's going to happen here, is it? This is just going to be talking. Now, that is my negative, that it's all just talking and talking and talking and talking. And it feels like a filler episode. If you're not an MCU fan, you're going to hate this episode. You're going to hate it. But as an MCU fan, this episode I thought was great, not only because it answered our questions, but especially because of what this was able to build up for the remainder of the MCU, in the same way that the end of the first Avengers brought up Thanos. And we said, oh, is he going to be in Avengers 2? No, he was the freaking big bad for the next 10 years. This is the Avengers of phase of this new saga that Marvel is making, with, again, not a spoiler, but Sylvie kind of putting into the events of what Marvel's going to be dealing with for the next 10 years. Because of that, I was so excited up until the end. I liked, Dan, like you, I liked all the talking as an MCU fan. So with MCU goggles on, guys, this was amazing. This was so cool. But without those MCU goggles, it was very boring.
Well, it makes me immediately think of Joe's friend, who you were saying like he didn't know who the person was, you know, and it's like that's exactly to further your point there, John, is to say like if you didn't know who was in here, I would be probably sitting there just being like, that was the end of the show. You know, I'd be pretty upset, honestly. So I agree, right? MCU goggles is a good way to put it. Yeah, I know I have such a biased opinion because I'm always a fan of this stuff and I know it so well that sometimes it's like, oh yeah, there's other people that don't even know anything about this.
Right.
But yeah, I think at least here's the upside is even if you're one of those people that don't know a lot about it, don't give up hope too quickly. Obviously, it's not like this isn't going anywhere. This is the tip of the iceberg, and it's going to start to avalanche into something really cool later on. And I mean, hey, there's probably people that didn't know who Thanos was when he first popped up, you know, and then over time they develop him, you get to know him, and then you appreciate it a lot. So
everyone thought Thanos was Hellboy, didn't they? When he first got shown, it was like, what's Hellboy doing here? Yeah.
I thought Thanos was Super Skrull when I saw the first Avengers.
A lot of people did. A lot of people did.
So before we get into spoilers, guys, we got a lot of comments to get through. Everybody wants to come in for the finale. Everyone wants to come into the finale.
Finale.
All right.
Just accentuating the words.
Scott is in here, guys. The Gringo
Hey,
Scott.
Gringo, ¿qué pasa, man?
Bro, didn't it shock you that he speaks Spanish, Joe?
Yeah, I didn't know that until right now.
Wait, I thought you knew that. That's why you said it.
No, literally, this is a revelation to me this very second. Spoilers. But yeah, I didn't know.
I thought you said that because you knew. Because he does.
Oh, no, I'll just say hello to him.
Eric says that this was his favorite episode. And I gotta say, because you mentioned, Joe, how it has this Game of Thrones feel. Eric is a massive fanatic of Game of Thrones, so I can totally see why this would be his favorite episode. Paul says, I thought the revelations in the episode were awesome. I did think the execution of it for a season finale left me a bit deflated, but I still enjoyed it. Episode 5 was the MVP. Anybody want to take that?
I obviously agree.
I would agree. I would say it's better. It was better. It was more entertaining. But I think, I like good writing. It was like almost Tarantino-esque. You know, you could just sit back and just listen to people talk, go back and forth, and it's all very intricate and gets your brain going. John, why are you nodding?
I'm shaking my head, not nodding.
I'm sorry. Oh dear, I'm gonna be quiet. But yeah, no, I preferred the 5th episode. 6th one though, I think was, like you said. To be honest with you, it's watching your streams up until now that I kind of put things together myself. If I just went in without watching your streams, going into this blind, I kind of would have been as confused as most people. But because of your streams, it caught me up. So if you haven't watched their streams, catch up. So just a shameless plug for you guys. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say about the matter.
The shameless plugger, Joe.
Pardon?
We love the atmosphere of the castle. Eric does, and I gotta agree. I really like the atmosphere of the castle as well. It kind of gave me a vibe of that little. You remember when Thanos was first introduced to the MCU? He was always in that little like island of rocks in space, and it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah.
He's shocked I call it a filler episode, but my thing is, as an MCU fan, it is not. But as somebody that may not understand what's going on, I can totally see that people saying this is a filler episode.
I will say it almost does feel like it would have been kind of nice if this was the second to last episode. Like if there was something that took place after this. Believe me, that's not saying like I'm cool with where they left it off. I like the cliffhanger and everything. It does almost feel like that's what it would have been in a way. Like other than the actual revelations themselves. Yeah, because not much happened, you'd think like, oh, so this is just a cool little lead up to the finale.
Yeah. Nocturnal Critic is on the stream. What's up, bro?
Oh, hey.
Happy to have you on.
Smooth stream.
Crazy that this show is launching the new MCU movies. I thought so too, because Kevin Feige never really mentioned Loki as being a stepping stone to what Marvel was going to be planning, and very obviously it is.
Yeah, no, they were talking about like WandaVision so much leading up to this, and obviously it's not that show has no implications, and I'm sure it'll tie even in further as we see more stuff play out. But this show changed the entire foundation of the MCU moving forward. So yeah, I can't believe that nothing like that was mentioned beforehand. Maybe it's because they wanted us to be so surprised.
And also based on the trailers leading up, it gave nothing away that this was going to be as heavy as it was. I just thought it'd be a nice. I thought it was gonna be like Jason, as you said before, and as we said privately, like Doctor Who light. Loki's going around from place to place having little adventures, but come the end, it had a bit more weight to it in the whole grand scheme of things than we thought going in.
I agree completely, guys. I'm going to try and breeze through these comments so we can get to the. Sean says, "Yeah, I heard it was super exposition heavy, bro. That's putting it lightly. I would say not that it's necessarily bad, but that's putting it lightly." Let's see. A lot of just talking. Maybe that's what it is. Let's see.
1 second. Yeah, just in some stupid stream. Carry on.
And so Scott says, "¿Qué anda pues?"
Tengo grande cojones, man.
Oh, Joe, again, rated PG. No, I'm just kidding.
Rated PG, perfect.
Is he on the ceiling? Is he on the ceiling?
He's recovering. He's recovering. Let's just say that.
Scott says it's crazy, which it is. And Sean's gonna end the comments with, "Wow, so pretty much I have to watch Loki to know what's going on with the feature films." Yeah. I gotta say, Sean, that you would have to check out Loki if you really want to launch yourself into what the MCU is going to be doing from now on. 100%. And very last comment is Scott saying, "Qué bien." Guys, this is it. We are going into spoiler talks right now. So I didn't take notes for this one only because there is not much that happens in a physical sense. There is probably 3 set pieces in the entire show, and that is it. But the biggest reveal is we get Kang the Conqueror, or a version of Kang the Conqueror, which I must say that I got to give the screen to my homie Jace, because last week he predicted that this was going to happen. He predicted that Immortus was going to be in the castle and that he wasn't going to be Kang, but he was going to say, "I made the timeline because I don't want Kang to destroy everything." And guess what? Jace was right. Jace was
the man.
Right.
Thanks, man.
So with that said, I wanna just get into our thoughts about that huge freaking mic drop of Jonathan Majors coming out of that elevator as Kang the Conqueror, starting with Joe.
Yeah, for me, when I was expecting a very grand, big entrance, and it was just so subdued. He was just sitting there chilled. And if anyone's watched Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, he kind of gave me Moriarty vibes, like the way his general attitude, very like, because when you imagine Moriarty in previous books and films, he's very much a dark, brooding character, but in Sherlock, he was very much flamboyant and a bit more carefree. And So to see this iteration of Kang, or the last version, he was like that, just very almost blasé, just like happy-go-lucky and not really a threat until he started talking, because he's not physically imposing like Thanos, but it's his words that give him his strength. And that's what I liked about him from the moment he stepped on the screen until the very end. So yeah, his reveal, and I know it was exposition heavy, but I think he done it in a way that was entertaining and not just like, my God, this is too much. But yeah, I think his general reveal was really cool.
Dan, what do you think about that King reveal?
Yeah, no, I agree with pretty much everything Joe said, and I thought Jonathan Majors did a really good job. And so if it wasn't for Jace, I wouldn't have known who that was. And I even when he said they called me a conqueror, even when he said that, I don't think I would have known. And I forgot that, and I guess Jonathan Majors, it was announced that he was cast in Ant-Man, and I didn't know that. I didn't remember, at least. So I really wouldn't have known who that was, I guess, and then I probably wouldn't have liked the episode as much as I did. But no, I thought he did a really good job. I thought it was really cool atmosphere, and I liked his attitude and everything. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Jace, take a moment to gloat, man, because your theory was 10 points.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm actually. Thank you so much for bringing that up first, because I would have felt like such a pretentious douche if I would have been like, so I called it right. But no, I gotta say, it really is cool to be as close as I was to it. I think probably the only part I threw in of my theory that didn't land was that Kang himself was going to show up to like confront Immortus, but it really makes sense that he wasn't there because they were at the end of time. That was like the purpose of it. But yeah, like that, it's awesome to like actually have called that. It's in no way of like, shoot, I wish it would have been something I wasn't expecting. It was really nice to actually see that come to life. And it's funny because I actually have I won't say it now. I'll hold it off to a little bit, but I actually have like an extension of the theory that may be a bit more of a stretch, but that deals with where things could be going and like what maybe that really was. Like I'm thinking that maybe it was a little bit of a facade, to say the least. But anyway, like I said, I'll hold on for now. As far as the performance by Majors, I definitely it took me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like when he first started, I was like, what is going on here? Like he doesn't, it's like, you're not really intimidating. I don't really dig what's like, it's like on the verge of like, you're trying to almost be Joker-esque without full blown being Joker. I mean, because, it was like, so playful with stuff and so animated with the movements and then like with the apple when he started eating it, like to try and like almost, I've heard somewhere that like when actors eat apples on set, like it's in a sense to exude cockiness, like that they're full of themselves almost. Anyway, it gave me a weird impression at first. The more and more he kept going, I started to more and more buy into it, and I thought it was kind of cool, and especially because you realize like his mindset on what's going on at the time, and I was like, all right, that seems pretty fitting, I guess. So yeah, it was like a shaky back and forth at first. Overall, really liked it, and then it definitely makes me super excited to see how he's going to change up the performance when he ends up coming back as a different iteration.
Yeah, so that's what I want to touch on, because I agree. I wasn't really into Jonathan Majors when he started acting out his version of Kang. I was so excited when that elevator door opened and Jonathan Majors was there, and I was like, it's Kang, and my wife is like, who is that? So it's Kang the Conqueror, the next Thanos. And she's like, that's the next Thanos? Like, yeah, I'll explain later. First, like this cocky little, it wasn't even cocky, because if he was cocky, I would have liked it a little bit more. But at first I was like, holy crap, like I'm not liking this flamboyant Joker-like character here, guys. And then the more we got to understand that he is just a variant of himself out of God knows how many other variants that there are, it made sense, because the next Kang the Conqueror will probably be a lot more serious, a lot more vengeful, a lot more evil. I like that. This gives Jonathan Majors as an actor an amazing opportunity to go out there and show his acting chops, because he can be a good guy, he can be a bad guy, he can be a cocky, flamboyant character. That's awesome for the actor. overall, I was so excited when I did see Kang. Him explaining how he came in, and like I said in my general thoughts, the only thing I didn't like is when he was explaining how he got there, how he's in control of the timeline. They could have so easily done a little short flashback sequence or something of him in costume or him with other variants where it would have added more oomph to the episode instead of getting these little blob creatures coming out of his time watch thing. I didn't like that. I wasn't into it. And I can't take credit for this joke, but I saw it on Instagram and I started laughing when he comes out of the elevator. He hands Loki a picture and it's like an actor's picture and it says Kang Boner.
Boner. Took a second. Yeah, but
yeah. So I have to step in just for a moment to say, as far as that, you mentioning it would have been nice to actually see something. I agree so heavily. I feel like that was a little bit of a cop out there, to be honest, because I thought that was just or missed opportunity, for lack of better terms. I think there's been too many movies for some reason. As soon as I saw, like you said, those little blobs pop up, I was like, didn't they do this in like Man of Steel and Justice?
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it was something I'm like, why do they rely on this so heavily sometimes? It just doesn't seem necessary, or it just seems like such an easier way to get around having to actually show something. Because they didn't have to show much. Just quick images of stuff. I don't know. That was a little disappointing. The revelation stuff was cool. Hearing it explained was cool, but that would have been a nice accompaniment.
Let's get to some comments, guys.
Commentes.
I don't think that's how you say it. Eric says, actually, my biggest concern going into Loki was that it would be inconsequential. Since it was about alternate timeline Loki, I thought it would be fan service for Loki fans to keep them happy. I thought so too. I thought that this was not at all going to be connected with the greater MCU and ended up being such a great series in general, Eric, honestly. Jace was on the money with your theory. Yeah, man.
Ching ching.
I can't believe it, man. I still can't believe it.
Paul says, elevator doors opened. Onto Google. Who is the guy in Loki?
How'd you like them apples?
Don't worry, Paul. You're not alone. I can only imagine how many people did the same exact thing.
I would love it, right? If the elevator doors opened and some guy was there was like, oh, sorry, wrong floor. And just pressed the bell, door shut, and disappeared. Like, who is that guy? Then
who would the guy be, though? I can see PG.
Can you imagine? Just the guy, like on the toilet like this. Oh, you know, just
Eric says, yeah, I wouldn't have known he was Kang, though, if I didn't already know Jonathan Majors was playing him. But yeah, he was my favorite character of this. He was my favorite character of the series, even though he's just in this. Wow, Eric, big words. I can't say that. I cannot. Not even this version of Kang is not even going to be my favorite version of Kang. I already know that. It's not even. It's probably going to be my very bottom version of Kang. Not that he had a bad performance or anything, but come on, Eric. Sylvie and Loki and Mobius, like those were the
Mobius is my favorite. Mobius is my favorite. Oh no, Alligator Loki. Sorry.
Joe, what's with the face?
No, I just with me sometimes it takes about 1 minute for things to hit me, and I was like, wait a second, favorite character, Eric, you're the dude. But calm down. Like he was good, and I would admit he did feel like he's been in the whole show the whole time. Coming in, I had this like vibe that his presence, and having met him, you can kind of feel his aura being around him. But it's but yeah, not near favorite character. Mobius, easily the best character in the show.
No, I love Mobius, but for me, it's probably it's between the Loki and Sylvie, one of those two.
Or Richard E. Grant. that end scene, God, glorious purpose. Loved it.
So good, bro. So good. Well, I also got to put it out there. Renslayer was great. Renslayer was a great character.
Yeah,
I hate
She's another good example. She's another really good example of like the way that people seem to feel about Wyatt Russell as John Walker. how a lot of people just like, they're like, no, I hate that guy. And it's like, right, because he did a really good job acting the part out that he was supposed to. And so I think it's the same with this, because my first initial thought is like, nah, I hate Renslayer. And it's like, well, yeah, because she did a good job acting it out.
Yeah.
Like Joffrey.
Yeah.
I still don't like Joffrey.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones. Stop talking about Game of Thrones. You guys always talk about Game of Thrones on the
He's
stream.
a lovely young man.
Wow.
He's like the Oliver Twist of Game of Thrones. He's adorable.
Paul says he was fantastic in the role, but Kang the Conqueror is going out my Marvel comfort zone. They are going on a deep dive now. Absolutely. The thing is with Kang, if you really get into the comics, he is an Avengers threat, but a lot of times he's not necessarily as impactful as even an Ultron, who in the comics has destroyed the whole world. They had to even go back in time to stop him. I think the MCU is going to reinvent Kang as we know him. Why Jace's face? I think this is concerning when you heard that Kang was his favorite character. It's Ricky, guys. Ricky's in the chat.
Ricky. It's my dude.
Guys, if you want some good, clean, family-friendly content, check out OAF Reviewers. So happy you're here, bro. Paul says Sylvie stole my heart, but not to tell his girlfriend. Joe,
Yes, don't tell your girlfriend.
Joe, are you in the same boat?
And literally, don't mention anything about any celebrity, especially Margot Robbie, in front of any girlfriend. It's not worth your trouble.
Who's Margot Robbie? Exactly. Renslayer might be good in season 2, but didn't get much from her here so far. I can agree with this, Eric. I thought her role in this episode was lame, guys. I thought it was really lame. The way it built up all the way through 5, I liked it. This episode for me kind of dropped the ball. This is more of like, hey guys, and she'll be in season 2.
Wink.
Dan, you were gonna say something?
I liked your scene with Mobius, but yeah, I don't know. I just like Mobius and her.
I didn't like the way she just threw him on the floor so easily. Like it was just like, come on. It's like Mobius. Like, where did she learn all those skills? You know what I mean? Like, if a little girl can get away with her so easily, how can she take down a full-grown man like that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then she went to go look for free. Well, we'll probably get to this more events.
You know, like guys, like this is the final episode, so honestly, like I have no paved way to go through the episode because there's like I said, there's only 3 set pieces, so the comments are going to be the way we're going to get through this episode of the Loki live stream.
Her going for free will made it seem like the opposite of what she's trying. Like that's what Mobius wants too. He wants everyone to have free will, and then she's going to get her own free will.
Oh my God! Can I just say that I thought that didn't make sense because she wants to help whoever controlling the sacred timeline, and at the very end, her last words is, "I'm going to go search for free will." What? Did that not make sense to you guys? I thought it didn't make sense.
Yeah,
I can't tell with her things, to be honest.
I'll jump in with this because I have to just like dive into it this part because I'm right there with you. I thought that was really stupid, but I think that there is much more to that than meets the eye. I think, you know, one thing to not overlook is well, hear me out. One thing to not overlook is the fact that she got that file from Miss Minutes, and she's like, "This isn't the file I asked you for." And then she goes, "Yeah, but he thought this would be better for like this one would be more important or whatever." Now we never find out what that is.
I know what it is.
You do?
Yeah, it's the Kang boner picture.
Okay, well, you're not. I don't feel like John. I don't feel like you're far off. And what I mean is not to say that it's anything revealing like something stupid like a Ralph Boner reveal. What I mean is, I think possibly that Immortus or the Kang that we saw in the Citadel, I feel like he was being facetious and deceitful when he said, "I don't know what's going to happen from here." And I also don't think he was really giving Loki and Sylvie an option. I think he knew damn well exactly what was going to happen. I think he knew Sylvie was going to kick Loki away. I think he knew that Sylvie was going to kill him. And what I mean by this is, he mentioned straight up, like at one point, like resurrection of sorts or whatever. And I think that potentially he either just had a desire to start everything all over again himself, or that maybe he wasn't as in control as we thought. Maybe he was another variant of Kang that was like being held at the Citadel, almost like a prisoner or something. But here's my thing: is I feel like he sent Renslayer a file to go find him before he started this, so she can make sure he still ends up doing this, but the right way, like the right way where he, yeah, right, exactly, like a little reset. But then this way, she'll be able to tell him, just like how Thanos was able to see, oh, I succeeded in the future, but this didn't work this way, so now I'm going to do this. I think she's going to be like, hey, look, you did it this way. It didn't really work. So he's going to be like, great, now I know what to do. And like be the more dominant, conquering Kang, potentially. So I think that, I just basically think that, as stupid as I thought it was, I want to give the benefit of the doubt that her going off to nowhere was not as to nowhere as we think. I think that it may serve a large purpose, and hopefully that's somewhat on the point.
I see what you're saying. I guess the only thing I'm going to pick at there is, you think that it's going to be the same Kang that we see talking to Loki and Sylvie, or is it going to be another? Because I do think there is a bigger plan here, but I'm like Loki here, and I trusted what Kang said in his office.
I just think that it was a bit of manipulation so that she would go back, find, yes, that Kang, not that he's going to act the same as that, but like find him at a much, much more in the past version, like before the multiversal war, before all this other stuff, and then like kind of give him the heads up, the insight, so that he has the upper hand and advantage when it comes to then of like again winning the multiversal war. Because here's the thing, at the very end when Loki is at the new TVA, if you will, and now there's just the statue of just Kang, I feel like, because you think, how did all that happen already? Well, time moves differently there, so on and so forth. I feel like Loki got thrown into a new reality where Kang did go win the multiversal war the way he wanted to, and is dominating like by himself, and that's why we see it like that. Yeah, I just think it was like, right, he like went back and like he knew his mistake, and then was just waiting for the moment for him to be able to go back and capitalize on fixing it.
We will get to that real quick. Let me just get to some comments.
I have a theory as well, guys. A theory after.
Oh, I'm so
excited to what Jace just said.
It was
comments away. Why am I talking about this?
Like Deadpool, bro. You break.
Where's my apple?
It wasn't even Eric who started talking about Game of Thrones this time. Yeah, Eric, for once. My brother's here, guys. Sorry I'm late. Oh, it just started, man. Ricky's laughing for my family-friendly YouTube channel joke. And my wife says, Paul, it's all good. OG Loki stole my heart. Don't tell Jonathan. I'll be back.
In paradise.
I'll be back. You'll get me locked up.
You did it on your own, Ricky.
It's that grin he does, isn't it? Everybody wants to just... okay, Eric says, okay, fine, Mobius is on par with Kang. Haha. Okay, like, sure. Mobius is higher for me still. He says, like, Loki's my favorite MCU character that is in this series, but I will say I think the handling of his character was still kind of forced throughout. I don't agree except for one thing, Eric, and it's the redemption of Loki being a good guy or a hero per se. I still don't believe it. That is the only thing. But other than that, I did like his arc throughout this entire series. Joe, we talked about it 1,000 million times. What do you think? Is Loki being forced fed us as a hero?
Good question. I think, like you said in your first stream, his transition from being like in New York, taking someone's eye out, to I'm chained was a bit too fast. Maybe a few more episodes, even near the end, really a full-on redemption to that point. But I think he's not being forced. I just think My issue with Loki in this series is he comes across a bit like he's the king of the tricksters. You know, he's like the god of mischief. But he seems to get tricked quite a lot, in my opinion. He seems to get like duped and believes people, and it's like that's your thing. You betray people and you trick people, yet you get fooled by everyone, and they're not even smarter than you. So that's my only problem there. His character, I don't think it was being forced. I just don't think it was developed as well as it could have been from A to B, in my opinion.
But he was in love, Joe.
Nor was I. I turned out all right. But basically,
Wow, is that how we're defining all right?
One second. Call me a cab, please. I'm getting out of here. It's, fire my agent. I'm never doing this again.
So based on what I get in the series, it's between Kang and Mobius, but I still had a huge grin on my face every second that Kang was on screen. Can I say that I did too? I was so excited to get Kang in general.
Yeah, I did too.
Just to finally get Jonathan Majors, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the whole
I was
time
so
walking in the castle, I was just on the edge of my seat and like my heart was pounding. I was like, are we about to get a big reveal? Are we about to get a big reveal? And then we got him, and then I was like, thank you, James. I would not have known who that was. Yeah.
Well, we don't even get a big reveal at first, Dan. We get the best jump scare in Marvel history.
With Miss Minutes, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Literally, you guys are sick, all three of you. All right, and I'll tell you why. Two streams ago, maybe 3 streams ago, you were talking about how Miss Minutes is like really cool, and you like her to be on an Apple Watch or Samsung, and this and that. What's wrong with you? She is the creep. I watch horrors, all right? That's my thing. She is the scariest thing I've seen in my life. When her eyes went all demented, it's like when I turn the lights off at night, I see those eyes looking at me in bed. And I'm done. And like, if she was in your watch, she would just betray her. Like, if you were in the car doing 30 miles per hour, the police pull you over, and they're like, do you know how fast you were going? 25. She'll be like, no, he was doing 35. And you're like, shut up, Miss Minutes. You're going to do me in. You guys, terrible idea. She scared the crap out of me. Take it away, guys. And
somebody put how in horror movies you look out the door hole, the peephole, and someone put her outside the peephole.
I want to see Joe, can you edit a video of Miss Minutes with an axe? But she's freaking from The Shining, you know? Like,
here's Minutes.
Jace, you got to say something in Miss Minutes' voice. I love your voice.
Oh gosh. Well, no, the pressure. I mean, I definitely could. I'm just not too sure what to say. We can go ahead and talk about the timeline, of course.
I love it, bro.
She's just like a very pleasant Southern accent. That's all. That's really all she is. She's just trying to make you feel really good about any scary situation you're in.
She's scary, bro. Mm-hmm. Sarah from Smells Like Teen Angst is here. Welcome. And she says it's very Doctor Strange of him, and yet I don't know what she means. I don't remember. I'm sorry, Sarah. Paul goes, Jonathan, what are some good comics to read to get some more background or info on Kang? I will be honest, I don't know, but I would tell you to look it up on Google though. There are some really good sites like Marvel Wiki or Marvel Wikipedia or Marvel Fandom, where you can really learn about a character and event in depth. And that's where I get a lot of my comic knowledge is from there. Even though I do read comics as well, I've yet to actually read one about Kang. And I think that goes back to me saying that he is a big threat, but never as big as a Thanos or even an Ultron in the comics. Like I said, the MCU is going to reinvent him for sure. Jace, you know your comics.
I do, at least to a certain extent. Like I mentioned, like a stream or so ago, like I'm always happy to admit what I do, but always quick to, admit if I don't. And yeah, I don't know like a title of a comic right off the bat. The only thing I will say is I'll definitely defend the idea as to why I've been saying it so much, that I really do believe Kang is like the next Thanos for this phase or phases moving forward, even is because he's maybe not like as physically imposing as someone as Thanos or Galactus or even like Doctor Doom to a certain extent, but he's a big deal. Whenever he shows up, stuff goes down. Like it's never just like a ordinary day happen if Kang's showing up. And I can at least say this, although I may not know exactly the comics offhand, and I would say those are of course the best place to start. There is an animated series that only went for 2 seasons that's called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which is hands down, in my opinion, the best Avengers cartoon that they ever made. That one in the 2nd season has a decent arc involving Kang, and I think it just does a really good representation of him, to be honest. And I think that's like would be a lot of fun to watch for anyone that's trying to get a little bit more knowledge on him, maybe.
Good answer. Joe, do you know anything? Or
I would say like a good place to start is like YouTube. Variant Comics do like good little, basically 5-minute videos where they can just give you the history of a character and how they started and talk you through it. I love the fact. Can you imagine there's a guy on YouTube who 10 years ago made like a Kang the Conqueror like video, thinking, not many views in this one. Maybe my time will come. And then now he's like, the views.
I can totally see that, Joe. I can totally see that. All right. Paul also says, I do wonder if the plan all along with the MCU was to make Loki a sort of anti-hero due to his popularity with fans. Paul, it's not even worth mentioning, my friend. That was the plan since Thor, the first Thor. Yeah, that was always the plan, even with the first Thor. I would like an anti-hero Loki. This is not an anti-hero Loki. This is a pure hero Loki. Deadpool is more of a villain than Loki in this series. Would you agree?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Wanda was more of a villain.
Who?
Wanda was more of a villain than Loki in this series.
Yeah.
100%. Cruella was more of a villain.
This could be a new meme. Winnie the Pooh was more of a villain.
He stole my honey.
The Nexus event. No, not the honey.
Joe, what?
Sorry.
A Nexus event of Winnie
the Pooh. Hey, you know, as weird as it is to think of this just because of that, this made me think of something. Just very, very quickly. Is anyone else as confused as I am as to, like, remember when Sylvie made that big deal about dropping all of those time bombs to reset all these different things, and then it caused all those next events? What the hell, man? Whatever happened with that? It never went anywhere. Did the TVA, are we just supposed to assume they fixed it?
Yeah.
Well, I remember she did that because she wanted to get to Renslayer. She did that to distract all the other TVA agents in order to get to Renslayer. But before she got to her office, Loki stopped her, and they had that little scuffle in the hallway before Renslayer came with other TVA agents to prune them, and that's when they landed in Lamentus. So that's why she bombed it, so the TVA agents can leave.
Well, okay, no, but still, so like, but they were just supposed to believe that, like, yeah, no, off screen they took care of all that, even though everyone was flipping out. No, it's all good. They got it taken care of. It's no big deal. Easy.
Yeah,
just the green button. Drink. Sorted.
Plus, I wonder what they did to fix it, because she was putting in those reset charges. So I feel like she was resetting a bunch of timelines that weren't meant to be. So I wonder how they undo that. Do they have like an unreset thing?
You know what? I think it has to do with those capsules that she had. She only had a limited number of them. So there was only a limited number of branches that were creating a Nexus event, unlike the finale of this one, where literally 63, there's like 63 new timelines every second. So I think, let's say she had 10 capsules, that's 10 timelines. I think that's how it was easy enough for them to clip it.
So, I think. Doesn't it seem funny that they went to, like, they freaked out, and the show itself presented that like that was going to be the event for like episodes to follow, and then it was like,
yeah. Eric says, I think WandaVision is the only MCU show so far where all of the characters from the movies felt trying consistent with who they were in the movies. One reason I will say WandaVision is the GOAT MCU show. I don't think I don't think WandaVision is the GOAT show anymore. I give it to Loki. Loki is my favorite MCU show. It really is. But you are right, Eric, with saying that they were the most consistent with their characters. 100%.
Yeah, the only one that got kind of close was Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier. Like, he was definitely consistent within that show, but I mean, that's not enough to say for the show overall. I agree. Between Vision, Wanda, they did a good job of not only staying consistent, but then developing on top of that to make you like them way more than, at least for me, I ended up liking them way more after that show than I did at first. And that's not saying I didn't like them before, but they did a good job with that.
And also, like when you watch a TV show based from movies, normally you can tell they're a TV show, and I felt with all these shows, they felt like movies in the way, in the quality, and the way they were shot. So there was like good, like you could what, like Loki was basically 2 Loki movies over 3 episodes, really. When you think about like 2 hours, 2 hours 10 minutes. So I found that, so the quality sort of, you can watch these and watch films like Agents of Shield. It was like a monster of the week kind of thing, and I was just like, no, I'm not about that. But this was for like each episode was a story building on a story, like Avengers films or Marvel films are films that build on they're like next phases. So yeah, I'm very impressed.
Eric, partly, I mean, though, just the performance made me smile. I loved how weird he was. Wait,
Probably.
I'm right here.
I think for Kang, like for the like He Who Remains, I think is what he's talking about.
Maybe this is his previous comment. So is he talking about Loki? Or is he talking about Joe?
What did I do?
I also love how weird he is.
That's my Tinder profile. So I love how weird I am. So
if Loki came out when you were a kid, would Miss Minutes have been your picks for the thing that scared you as a kid in your competition that you did?
Honestly, like I would never wake up ever again because I would refuse to have alarm clocks or any sort of device in my room. I'd be like, sleep forever, no more minutes. No, but yeah, she was terrifying.
You could never see Beauty and the Beast again because of the clock.
Oh, I don't want to go to Disneyland because I'll go to Beauty and the Beast or something to smash that clock up. No, but she was absolutely terrifying, and her eyes reminded me of Five Nights at Freddy's. You know when you lose and all the lights go off and it's like dun 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 dun, dun and the eyes go really bright. That's what she reminded me of with her eyes when they went really crazy, like the guy from Roger Rabbit at the end. You know, the villain played by Chris. That's what eyes reminded me of when they went really big, and I was like, oh. So yeah, terrifying. Thanks, Eric.
Paul Tams, a friend from work said to me today, I wonder if they are going to do a Secret War story in the MCU, but instead a multiverse war. If so, take my money. Take my money indeed. So I don't know if they'll call it Secret War, but it is still the same concept. And I agree with your friend from work. I think this is the next big Marvel event is going to be the multiverse war, or in the comics, it's known as Secret Wars, where all the multiverses kind of collide with each other and start battling. And we get really cool versions of our characters fighting each other. And it's really cool. And I think that's exactly what we're getting into. And it just proved with the introduction of Kang and his backstory of other Kangs that want war. They want the multiverse because they want to conquer different types of war, universes. I think that's exactly where we're going. And that's what I was talking with my wife yesterday, because at the very end of this episode, we get the statue of Kang instead of the timekeepers, kind of telling us that Loki is not in the same timeline that he started out in. And she thought that the war had already happened and that Kang won. And I told her, good theory, but no, I think the war is what we're leading up to. And we're not going to see that war for another 10 years, the same way we did Infinity War and Endgame. What do you think?
I think that...
Oh, sorry for Joe.
Oh, no, I didn't know either, I guess.
I did say Joe.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry then, yeah. You go ahead, Joe.
Dinner's in the microwave. I see it at home. I would say... No, I would say what I personally thought was, has anyone ever seen the film with Jet Li called The One? Wow, I'm showing my age. It was a film in like in the early 2000s. Basically, it's multiple universes where Jet Li has to go into each universe, and every time he kills one of his versions, he gains that all of them in all the universes gain the strength of that one person. So as they diminish all the different universes, they gain the strength of each one. So they get stronger the more universes are destroyed. So I was kind of getting that vibes, and I think going forward, I think with Ant-Man and Quantumania, that's not going to be the Kang we know. I think each film is going to have a version of Kang, which they've got to fight, all different in their own little way. There could be a female Kang, for all we know. There could be like a female version in the universe because there's a female Loki, and that she could be like an incel with the Avengers, and then big reveal she's actually Kang. Anything could happen. But that's kind of vibes I was getting with him, where the show could go in regards to like the building up the universes, destroying each one. It's just a personal opinion, but it could be wrong. But that's kind of the vibes I was getting.
Dan, real quick, I haven't heard a lot from you, bro. Do you think that, like Joe said, that the MCU is going to start introducing different Kangs as villains in their movies? Like, for example, Ant-Man and the Wasp, the villain's going to be just another Kang. Maybe in Doctor Strange, a villain is going to be another Kang.
Yeah, I really like that idea. I think that they're going to do something like that. Like in the Ant-Man, it's going to be a different Jonathan Majors, different Kang than we saw in this show. That'll be really cool to see.
Yeah. Can I also plug in before I give it to Jace, because I know you wanted to say something, Jace. I love your idea, Joe. I haven't seen that movie. The One, is that what it's called?
It stars Jason Statham doing the worst American accent you would ever hear in your entire life.
You said it was like, Jet Li. I could have
sworn. Jet Li and Jason Statham. They're going. It was like his first venture into American movies, and he has the worst American accent. Please watch it.
I think if Marvel has seen the movie or even thought of the idea, I think it's a great idea that each Kang, as they conquer a universe, gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Oh man, that is so cool. I would love to see that in the MCU for sure. Jace.
Yeah, I definitely think that's exactly what we're going to be getting. Okay, so just like how in Loki, he's titled He Who Remains. In Ant-Man, it's been definitely specified Kang the Conqueror is the villain. He has a lot of aliases. It's weird. He's probably the only character that all of his variants, if you will, right? All the different ones in the multiverse of him, they all go by different names. For the most part, Nathaniel Richards is who he is. Mm-hmm. So no matter what version of him, that's the actual character. Who's potentially a descendant. I don't know why they always say potentially. I feel like it's he definitely is, but they always say potentially a descendant of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. But then he's gone by Iron Lad, Immortus. There was a one where he went back to ancient Egyptian times and became a pharaoh or something.
Yeah.
So there's all these different things where I feel like that's exactly what it's going to be. You're going to see introduced to a different version of him and think what is this? Is this a different guy? And just be no, it's just another Kang. And then it all eventually will kind of culminate to all the Kangs duking it out, maybe to a certain extent, and us just having to deal with the repercussions of that. All the MCU people just being we're almost ants at this big picnic here, but then it's all right, as these ants, how do we rise together to get rid of all this stuff so we could have this picnic to ourselves? That was a weird analogy, but it was the first thing that came to my head.
I loved it.
You're the best, Jace. All right, some comments. Eric. Yeah, I was so unsure of what the deal was with that episode 2 ending. So this is going back to when we were talking about the canisters, creating the timelines, and how that never really became as big of an impact that it left off being. Yeah. Joe, why do you laugh?
Sorry, I'm just a happy guy.
I'm not sure if this finale made the possibility of Ralph Bohner actually being Fox Quicksilver more or less likely. LOL. Do I need to let the Fox X-Men thing go? Haha, it just seems weird to exclude it. I wouldn't let it go completely because we did see so many timelines branch off in the matter of seconds. Come on. One of those timelines is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies.
If you squint really hard, you can see Tobey Maguire
crying. Jace.
Yeah. So I think that this definitely, like, Eric, you can put your worries to ease, because I really do feel like this is helping prove the point. Not so much that Ralph Boner is Quicksilver. I don't think there's any hope for that. What I do think is that this is just guaranteeing that we are going to see Quicksilver from the Fox universe at some point in time, potentially. Like, that was almost like a test run to see how we would react to it. And it's like, cool, they liked it. Let's do it for real. I don't think that we'll see all of Fox X-Men come over. I think it's going to be interesting how it's like bits and pieces. And I could even be wrong about that. It's just, I just don't think that they're trying to bring everyone. I think they're really trying to make an interesting, like, hey, look, you got Evan Peters as Quicksilver, but check out this new Wolverine over here, and stuff along those lines.
And then
Yeah, Dan. I was gonna pass it to Dan.
I think What If could be canon now, because What If can be all of this stuff. Yeah.
Okay, Dan, I'm so happy you brought that up, because I was thinking about that earlier today. With what happened here in Loki, What If is canon, right? Like, that's definitely going to be a show that's canon. Listen, we're going to see Kang in that show, right? In animated form. What do we think?
That'd be cool, actually. That's a cool concept.
Yeah.
I think it just makes sense, Joe. I think with what happened with the episode, with all the timelines branching off, and with What If being a show about just the craziest things happening in the Marvel universe, but they're all just, what if this happens? Bro, this smells Kang all over. I don't know if we talked about this on the collab video that might be coming out soon. But did we say that about what if it's gonna be a cohesive story, or if it's just gonna be an anthology series? Did we mention that at all? But I think after, again, I'm reiterating this so many times, the ending of this episode, we will eventually tie What If into a cohesive story. I think this first season of What If is gonna be anthology. Oh, what if Spider-Man was Doctor Strange? What if Black Panther was Star-Lord? But I think there's going to be little inklings here and there that are going to show us that Kang is already taking over these universes bit by bit.
It'd also be good to see, because, as you know, things in comics don't translate well to film in regards to like costumes, and they could just have Kang in his full-blown costume in What If, because it'll translate better there. And then it'll be cool, like in the last episode, you just see like Kang just like in the distance, and he just walks through like the little teleporter door, and then bang. You know what I mean? Like in the last episode, just to say that his influence has been implanted in this universe.
Ooh, I like that, Joe. Okay, I'm going to ask you this. You say in the last episode, the trailer has shown us some of the episodes that's going to be be happening. What episode would you put that in?
Oh, you know, I'd almost have an Easter egg, like in Loki, of just Kang's influence. Like maybe he's building in a distance, but you can't really see it properly. But you've seen the shape of it in Loki. You can see the silhouette of it in the background in the sea. Or maybe just the whisper of a name, like Thanos. You know, like he's gone by many names. Maybe you hear one of the names Jace mentioned, but in one of the episodes. And to those not initiated in like Marvel, they wouldn't know, but those really heavy in the lore will be like, oh, that's Kang. And then come the last episode, maybe you have just an in-your-face like Thanos at the end of Avengers, where he just turns to the side and there's Kang, and you're like, oh, okay, this is one of the Loki timelines. This is the first version of the timeline splitting off. So it will come full circle.
Paul says, I know I'm going a bit forward, but that's what this show has done for me. Obviously, Doctor Doom is the puppet master of Secret Wars. Do you think they will bring him in for this multiverse? This is a thought that I had, guys, because Doctor Doom is such an Avengers level threat. I would even say in the comics more than Kang. With them introducing Kang, and with us talking about how he will be such a different villain than Thanos, because since Thanos was just one singular person and Kang is a multiple amount of Kangs, so you kill one off, it doesn't matter, there's another one that's going to take his place. Do you think that maybe it's going to get a little bit tired out 5, 6, 7 years after we get 7 movies with different variants of Kang, we're like, oh, really? And then Doctor Doom takes his place, and it doesn't change the whole multiverse war that Marvel is obviously building up to. Dan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to see, Doctor Doom, obviously. And yeah, so I don't know much about him, so I wouldn't have known that he was an Avengers level threat or anything until you guys have been talking about it for the past few weeks. But just because all I know him from is the Fantastic Four movies. But no, yeah, it would probably be a little repetitive if we kept seeing, even if it's different variants of King. So I definitely think they need more villains, throughout this saga or whatever they're gonna call it.
Joe.
Hi. So, no, I think I've got a theory, but again, like I think you're right. The idea of many variants of Kang could get quite tiresome because it's like, okay, it's like almost like waves in a video game. It's like, all right, okay, I get it, you're kicking up a notch each film, but it's still the same villain. It's just the threat's a bit bigger. They could do a complete rug pull and have him set up as they could trick us, the MCU, and make us think he's gonna be the big bad when really Doctor Doom could come on and just kill him, like kill Kang, like thinking literally just, and then Doctor Doom. I think you're like there's too many films just to be like, oh, it's Kang, because it's so early on in the new phase that he's being set up, and we all know. And if they're going to do like 20 more movies until the end of this one, it's going to get tiresome. So I reckon there's going to be like again Game of Thrones moment where it's just a massive twist and he just gets wiped out by the actual big bad, which could be Doctor Doom, and then that leads into the X-Men, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four getting involved, and then teaming up to take him down.
Oh my God, Joe, you get the screen, bro. That was amazing.
I can't take the power.
That was an amazing theory, I have to say. Jace, what do you think about Kang is being built up as the big bad, but then in the last moment it turns on him and he's not? It's Doctor Doom, who, if we have said before, has messed with time, has messed with the timeline before, has time traveled before. And like I said, Kang never really being as big of a threat to the Avengers as Doom is in the comics. Somewhere down the line in the movies, Kang goes to a reality where Doctor Doom is there and he says, I'm here to conquer you or whatever. And in the vein of the Secret Wars, Doctor Doom pulls his spine out like he does Thanos in the Secret War comic book. Jace. Amazing. What do you think?
I'm so on the same page. It's not even funny. Like I for a long time, I'm so happy they're doing Kang, but and I'm not even gonna say like I would feel like it'd be played out, because I just really, I know that sometimes there's been hits and misses, but like I really trust the MCU with like how they handle the characters and like doing well with the source material. With that being said, yeah, I almost look at it like this. I know I've mentioned like, oh, okay, Kang, next Thanos. I just think because like, yeah, the temporary big bad, like in placement of that, I don't really think there's going to be another maybe like Thanos though, because of where they're getting to. What I mean is Thanos was around for 3 phases of movies. And I just think with where they're picking up to and the scale this is all rising to, I don't really think we're going to see many villains stay around that long. Maybe a phase or something like that or something, but not to that extent. So I do feel it'll be Kang, lead into some stuff, things will get crazy. And yeah, I do think there will be one reality he goes to where instead of it's another him that's conquering everything, that I could picture him being like, looking around, thinking things are off a little bit, realizing he's actually in Latveria, and then all of a sudden it's like Doom being like, I've been waiting for you to get here so I could actually just take everything over. And then it'd be the best absolute introduction as far as why Fantastic Four is coming into play. Don't get me wrong, Kang is already a good excuse as to why Fantastic Four would come there. I mean, again, he's a descendant of Reed Richards, potentially. But anyway, so that's still a good excuse, but the blend of the two would be even better. It would totally make sense. I'm so down for that, because that would probably also bring in, like, at some point, Galactus would probably show up as well. And then, and then of course Silver Surfer, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. I really want to see that.
I think the thing to take from this is this could have all been avoided had they just let the Hulk use the elevator. You know, had they just let him use it, this never would have happened.
Okay, wait. How about the fact that like, why do they treat it like Loki doing that was wrong? Can we acknowledge the fact that if Loki didn't take the Tesseract and go away, they would have had no reason to go back in time to take the other Tesseract, which is what they needed to do in order to complete their mission. So how is Loki going off and with it like something wrong? Especially they confirmed, they're like, no, the Avengers were supposed to do that. Okay, dude, they wouldn't have been able to do what they did if Loki didn't take this Tesseract and leave.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. I thought of it.
It's timey-wimey, Jace. Timey-wimey, bubbly.
So Scott left like 45 minutes ago, but it's okay. No, he didn't. He left only little. Eric goes, it's very fitting that What If is following up Loki immediately. We agree with you. We agree with you. Anthony, guys. It's freaking Anthony. Oh,
everyone, 80s freeze frame. Hi, Anthony. Sorry, I've always wanted to do that.
I'm gonna screenshot that later. I'm glad we got Kang as the real big bad instead of another alternate Loki, which is what I figured would happen. We did figure that too, I think around episode 2 or 3, but I think very quickly it turned to, this is Kang. This is Kang.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so wait, is Kang in anything ever? Because when I was picturing Kang before I saw him, I was picturing a Thanos, Thanos like Steppenwolf, like a creature, I guess, like a big monster. He's always a human.
Always a human.
Always.
Which actually, that's another thing that I have like a little bit of an issue with. It's like, okay, so he's just a human, and just because he figured out how to travel between different universes, that somehow explains that he's now an immortal being that can control the entirety of reality?
And Eliath.
Like, it don't, like, I'm cool with it, like, because I like Kang, but as far as like to be real technical, it's like, wait, what? You just jumped from, so I discovered there was different universes, and now I'm in control of all of time.
Jace, it's your moment to shine. It's your motto. Gotta say your motto.
Oh, shut up. That involves story development.
That's exactly it.
Thank you for giving me a chance to say that.
That's it. That's what it is. It's just they didn't want to develop it because for some reason.
I was going to say also, with Eliath, I got really disappointed in the previous episode because I thought they said Goliath. And I was like thinking, Gargoyles meets the MCU.
I thought he said Galactus at first. Paul says, I'm sat here with the same take my money face as Jonathan keeps pulling with all these theories. This is when I started talking about Dr. Doom, like pulling his spine out and all that type of stuff. And Anthony says, Hulk is too heavy for the elevator. He needs a special Hulk elevator. Well, what does that even look like? Rick Alba.
Hey.
What's up, Rick? Hey, guys. Sorry, just tuning in now. Definitely circle back and watch the beginning later on. No problem, my friend. No problem. Guys, we finished the comments, and that was a lot. That was a lot. But we were able to really integrate everything into that. I want to end, before we wrap up, with this. What will the future hold for the MCU?
Ooh, Zutalo.
For exactly what you said, Joe. I don't know what you said.
It's our français.
Oh, Joe. Oh, the language of love.
Je m'appelle Joe. J'habite de Bonnet en Angleterre.
Do you really know French?
I do.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
I was going to say that, or that was really some, like, persuading gibberish. Like, if that wasn't real. I was like, that sounded like you knew what you were saying.
I'll give you guys a chance. Concerning Loki, we now will get a season 2 of Loki. That was the post-credit scene of this episode, which was the most disappointing post-credit scene I've seen. Like, cool, we're getting a second season. Why is that a
We
post?
knew that.
Yeah, we didn't need that. We did not. Anyway,
I liked it.
the second season of Loki is obviously going to be talking about the multiverse and what just happened here. But very much so, I cannot wait to go back around to the now broken relationship between Sylvie and Loki, who, after so many episodes, were able to trust each other, create a bond with each other, and out of nowhere, it broke. And it was so sad because, like I said, they were my two favorite characters in the show. I really enjoyed Sylvie, not at first, and then she really ended up winning me over. And then ending with that fight between them where Sylvie ends up pushing him into the time door and killing Kang. And we left off, I feel like, Infinity War. And what I think the future holds for Loki is definitely a more in-depth look in the relationship that he will have with Sylvie. Albeit multiverse will be surrounding them, I am more interested with Sylvie and Loki, though, I must say. Let's start with Joe. What do you think about what I thought? What do you think the future holds for the MCU?
Well, I'll start with Loki. I think second series, and this is why I think Kang is not going to be as major of a player going forward, because it's like if they did this with Thanos. Imagine Thanos just appearing in the elevator. It would have the impact. I think they're setting him up, but not to be the long game. It's to be the mid-tier, middle of the MCU, like future plans. And in regards to Loki, it's interesting because Sylvie for me is almost like the Star-Lord, because Star-Lord set off Thanos to be able to do the snap, because they would have like gone it off him had he not lost his cool. Same with Sylvie, she lost her cool and got rid of Loki and allowed the timelines to split. So she's almost what Star-Lord was here. In regards to what the next series is going to be about, I think it's going to be about Loki trying to get through to more like Mobius. I think Mobius, essentially the one he knew, is gone, and this is him trying to bring around a new one, which is disappointing, because I liked what we got. But in regards to the future of the MCU, this has amped up my levels for Eternals, because John was like, no, because having seen this, what does Eternals mean? Because if that makes sense, because Eternals has given us such little information that I think a lot of what we're talking about will be explained in Eternals, if that makes sense. I think because I think for those that want, like my mum, for example, she doesn't watch TV shows, she ain't got time, she goes by the films. So someone has to set up Kang in the film, so people that can't have access to Disney Plus or the TV shows. So I think things like Eternals will set up either the real big bad or the more dominant Kang, if that makes sense, early on. And that's why I'm looking forward to Eternals more. Not the trailer was terrible, but it's not so much a film, it's more of the where they're going to go based on Loki, where they're going to take it next, what's going to happen in Eternals that's going to like pull out something out of the hat. But yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings. Good night, stay tuned, and no, not really. That's stay out of trouble. Why isn't it cutting? Oh God, normally where's the music? But yeah, that's my thoughts, guys, with Loki, MCU. Obviously, one thing though, sorry to keep rambling on. I hope that Marvel got the balls and do a universe where it's very meta, where they're all actors. Because in the Spider-Man cartoon back in the 90s, there's a Spider-Man that joins in the Secret Wars who hasn't got any powers because he's the actor who's in our universe, essentially, playing Spider-Man in the movies. So I hope there's one version of Spider-Man or a character that tags along who hasn't got any powers, but he's actually them, but plays them in the movie that they're kind of in a very meta way. I hope that's where maybe Deadpool can get involved in that kind of thing, but that's what I'm hoping for.
Joe had to end it up like that. Classic Joe. Dan, I want to give it to Dan. What do you think, bro?
Well, I want the Spider-Man trailer now. Oh shit.
No, Dan.
Yeah. No, I want the trailer like right now. It should be soon now. I don't know. That's what I'm really excited for. I'm excited for Eternals, kind of. And that sounded cool about the actor playing the actors. The actor in there. I think a Supernatural episode did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. So that would be really cool. I don't know. I don't know, but this changed a lot of it. This changed a lot of the future of the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can just theorize all day if we wanted to, Dan. Jace, let's end it with you, bro.
So at least just real quick in regards to like Loki, the show itself. The only thing that I didn't care for before I mention anything about where it's going is I don't really like the turn Sylvie made. I feel like it was absurdly forced, to be honest with you. Like, I did not buy it for one moment when her and Loki were fighting.
What turn are you talking about?
Well, okay, maybe not a turn, but like, I did not buy that she just like all of a sudden didn't believe Loki with anything he said. Like, she just had this really weird of just like, oh, you just want your throne. And he was like, no, like, we got past this. I really don't. She's like, so why don't you just take your throne now? And he's like, dude, I don't want a throne. It just was so obnoxiously. That was the only thing. I just really had an issue with that. I sat there watching. I was like, what? You went from like legitimately the last episode with your blanket around each other, right? And you gave your very first legitimate, genuine thank you. And he gave his first legitimate, like, my pleasure. And like a serious amount of trust build up. How do I know you won't betray me in the last moments? Because that's not me anymore. And he didn't do anything to provoke her to do that. No action or words spoken by him was like to justify all of a sudden her being like, you are turning on me. It was just weird. So I just had to throw that in because we were mentioning about like Sylvie and all that type of stuff. And I actually felt like this left me not knowing how to feel about her. I thought she was pretty cool until like this all went down. Then I was like, okay. So with that being said, I think that they are going to amp that up in season 2. I think that she is like, they have focused so heavily on Loki being redeemed. And I think to subvert our expectations of them being a couple, I think they're actually going to crank up the volume, so to speak, or crank up the dial of her being maybe going through with her, not evil ways, but like an almost like, you know what? I'm going to do what needs to be done. And I don't care if that means pushing away the one that I love and killing this guy that sets off the multiverse. I'm going to do it. And I feel like there's like a King Loki storyline that's in the comics to a certain extent that I'm only so familiar with, but it's where like he's in charge of everything and he's really evil, and people thought that that's what this story was going to be, was it was going to lead to King Loki. I have a feeling that they're going to just like try and pull that same thing with Sylvie potentially, and then she'll be like the Queen Loki of season 2 and everything. John, I know I'm really upsetting you with everything I'm saying here, but this is that's the great part about theories, man. I'm sorry to break your heart into a million pieces. As far as with that, and like I said, I could be wrong, and I'm fine if I'm wrong, right? That's like, I'm legitimately okay if that's not at all it. I'm fine if all of a sudden Loki and Sylvie meet back up in season 2, and then she has her own redemption arc of realizing the fault of her ways. I'm really like, I would be totally okay with that. But I think that it would almost be a better idea story-wise to not give in to every single thing that like, but no, please make her good. It'd be kind of interesting, like with Wanda. Like, no, just let her be a villain almost. With that being said, I know that was a really long thing. With the future of the MCU, dude, this show, as I brought up earlier, changed the dynamic of everything moving forward. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have anything be the same after this, but it's going to be hard to have anything be the same after this. This is my one hope / concern. I'm all for this. I love the multiverse. I'm so down to see other versions of different characters interacting either with each other or shows like the What If thing where we just see little spin-offs with different iterations of them. But I'm worried that they may be leaving themselves in a situation where now it's going to be really hard to tell those grounded down to earth stories because everything's on such a big scale now. And now whenever like if they try to do like the Defenders, let's say they get like, you know, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist all back in here again, and they try to tell some like really rooted story with them against the Hand, it's going to be like, yeah, but where's everybody else? And how come we're not seeing all these different versions of Daredevil and Luke Cage? And that's my only concern, is that it might lead to people thinking that way. But I'm still like, that's not a big enough concern to say I'm not excited. Like, this is great. I think they purposely waited for this to come out until they dropped the Spider-Man trailer so that we would understand why all the nonsense that's going to be going on there is going on. And yeah, I'm stoked, man. This is like really cool. They've gotten to this point to be able to do what they're doing.
You know, there's something that I'm really not looking forward to concerning what you just said right now, and I feel, and it's gonna really annoy me that we're gonna be watching some shows or movies, and then find out by the end it wasn't in the sacred timeline. It was another
dream.
the whole time, and that's gonna really annoy me if I've seen this really amazing Captain Marvel 2. For example, like I love it, and only to find out, oh, that's not your Captain Marvel. That's another universe. That's gonna piss me off if Marvel decides to do reveals or twists like that.
No, that's a good point. So people have been bringing up about like being worried about what's the prime version, right? Like which version of are we actually following? Like people were arguing like, oh, so I mean, this is our Loki. It's like, well, is it really? This Loki's a variant. Like prime Loki died by Thanos.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's like it is interesting to think that. I'll put it this way. If anything, to maybe ease the worries of that part, you could look at all superhero movies that have come out to this point, like prior to the MCU, are exactly what you're talking about. Like when you watch Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, then all of a sudden now it's like, oh, so I guess he's not the sacred timeline Spider-Man, but that doesn't mean you can't really still appreciate and love it for what it was worth and while it was made. I do see what you mean. But I think in a good way, right? It's like, well, maybe we've actually already been witnessing that and just never looked at it like that before.
It's cool.
Yeah. Do you guys think season 2 is going to continue off right from here, or do you think the movies are going to have a big impact on where it continues?
Good question.
Good question, Dan. I for one think that Loki will be in Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Do you guys think?
Yeah.
Well, it could be because Wanda is in there, so maybe they put the TV show characters in with Doctor Strange.
I think either he'll be in Doctor Strange, or I can't believe I almost forgot about this. I think that he might show up in Ant-Man because people were saying that that city in the bubble in the quantum realm could potentially be the TVA.
Oh my god, that'd be so cool if that was. That'd be amazing.
Right? So yeah, it could be somewhere like maybe Loki finally breaks out of the TVA city only to find himself in the quantum realm. And then maybe
and that's why magic doesn't work there, because it's in the quantum realm. Like nothing exists there.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, another quick theory before we wrap it up. I heard where does Loki take place in the timeline, especially because time works differently in the TVA, and there was a theory that I really like that I heard, that the very end credit scene of WandaVision, where Wanda is doing magic from the Darkhold and she hears Billy and Tommy's voice, is the moment that Sylvie kills Kang in the multiverse branches.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I heard that. I love that idea. I really do. It makes so much sense.
Did you guys hear about the WandaVision?
Yeah.
Like end credit scene.
Yeah, they
I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but what they're doing is they're not telling anyone, they're not announcing it, but they're making changes to the end credit scene all the time. So the one we got when we originally watched the show isn't the one that's out now. They're adding little things like shadows or dead flowers dying or dead animals in the forest. If you watch WandaVision now, the ending isn't the ending we got. They keep adding bits. So it wouldn't surprise me if the ending you might hear more Loki stuff in the voices and stuff. But yeah, like they're not saying, oh yeah, go check out WandaVision now, we've changed it. It's literally like one person's each day is watching the ending and it's changing.
Yeah, so in one of them I saw there's a figure floating down out, that's Doctor Strange that's floating down to her cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in one of them there's a shadow coming down and it could be Doctor Strange. And in each, I think each thing that passes by, it's going to become more established what's going on in the end credit scene.
I'm about to watch the finale of WandaVision right now.
We're playing this for comedic value, but honestly, after this, I'm checking out the post-credit scene to see if I notice anything different, like you said, Joe. Thanks for bringing that up, and I think everybody in the chat's going to appreciate that, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wait, out of curiosity, so you mean like it's been consistent differences?
Yeah. If you go on YouTube, there's one guy who's been checking every day, and as it zooms into the cabin, there'll be like dead ducks in the pond where before they were alive. You know, so like there's little changes. And in Wanda's room at the end, you see a shadow, like behind her, where it wasn't there in the original one. So it's as each like thing's going by, it's changing.
Oh wow, man, that is so cool.
Yeah.
How is no one like catching? Because doesn't that mean that they have to like take an episode down and put an episode up on Disney Plus? Like,
no, No, they don't have to take it down. They just replace it, right? They just replace it with it.
But they don't announce it. It's just down to you,
Yeah, they don't
the
announce
keen viewer, to just keep track of it each day and make a note of every little difference, whether it be like the lighting's different, like in the room, the cabin now it's dark and a bit more like foreboding. So it's little differences that they're changing.
I love that.
I'm so excited for that, for checking that out. Oh my God, Joe.
I'm
Guys,
disappear now. Just my work here is done.
the snap out of existence. Last comments and then wrap up, guys. Anthony says, "Shut up. That involves story development. Shirts available soon from this online store or out of the back of my car here."
Yo, I'm actually having a buddy of mine make me a shirt that says that. So expect to see that hopefully in one of my videos soon.
That's wicked.
Eric says, "Is it confirmed Loki will be in Multiverse of Madness? I really think him and Wanda would be a great odd couple if Vision's not around. Not romantically. I mean, like Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Yeah, not confirmed, Eric. Just a theory. And it does make sense. And I would like to see Wanda and Loki duke it out as, I don't know, good as conflicting, opposing each other, or as friends. But I don't know.
It'd be cool because they have different kinds of magic.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be interesting to see how that bounces off each other.
That would be cool. Yeah, the ending of this did feel similar vibe to the end of Infinity War. Absolutely. Just like that grim ending of that. It's not a happy ending. It's not. Eric says Eternals mean Game of Thrones reunion and the MCU. And I don't know who E3 is. E3 from who made the hammer, Stormbreaker.
I did. That would be welcome.
Great stream and series, guys. It's been fun. Eric, kind of sad. It's so sad.
I was gonna bring up: is it right to be sad if there's gonna be a season 2, or are we gonna do this with season 2?
I'll mention it. I'll mention it in a second.
I hope you guys do, because it's been very fun to watch you each week.
I'm sorry, John.
I was about to say something too. Then okay, I'll wait if you have an announcement.
I think they might be just finishing it. I think that's concerning the WandaVision ending. Oh, never mind. That does sound like something special, maybe. And my brother's completely mind blown with the ending. It changes. Yeah. And my wife, last comment. Till next season. Goodbye. She says goodbye. This was great to hear you guys talk about your theories and thoughts.
Thank you, random lady.
Thank you.
Yeah, hang your head in shame.
What I was about to say.
Do it with every Marvel show. Maybe. That's it for the comments, guys. No more comments after this. We are wrapping up now. Guys.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming on week after week, hearing us talk about our thoughts and spoilers, our theories, our crazy theories, our fan theories, everything about the Loki series. Honestly, this couldn't have been done without the comments, because we would have just been rambling on. But hey, man, like, what an awesome experience. I didn't think I was going to be as sentimental as I feel right now about ending this. It's been almost 2 months with you guys, and that's awesome. I don't know about the Marvel shows. I will say I will leave that up to Dan and Jace and Joe. I was going to call you GeekyHiJynx for a second because I saw your name. Maybe like we may want to do that with every Marvel show. But 110%, guys, we will be back for season 2. 100%. Like, no question here. Season 2 is happening. The local live stream is coming back. 100%. So, guys, this is a little bit sad. But, Joe, I want to give it to you, man. I want to give the screen to you. Let the people know, what is your channel all about? What do you got coming up? What do you have already?
Well, I'm going to the doctors on Saturday, so I'll find out. Sorry, composure. Yeah, so on my channel I do everything from mainly horror reviews, but also trailer reactions, TV show reviews. I do my back to the 80s stuff where I review old horror films that I've never seen. I do haul videos where I go to the shops, see if I can find great deals. I'm doing my new under the radar stuff soon coming up, where I find films that are hidden gems essentially and tell you about them so you can have a good time. And also I do PG be around as well to cause much mischief, and that is about it, guys. Teleport. Okay, it's not working. So yeah, that's about it for me, guys. But until next time.
Wait,
Catch you later.
you gotta mention. Here's what are we doing on Sunday? We should mention what we're doing on Sunday.
Come back to me, guys. Come back to me, guys.
Okay. Hold on.
1 second. Take 2. Hi guys, I'm GeekyHiJynx. I do everything from Back to the Nine. No, so basically, guys, on Sunday, me and the Cinema Squad, we're going to do a live stream on my channel. Link in description below. Trying to make sure that happens.
Okay.
And so yeah, we're going to talk about Fear Street, the whole trilogy, because it's very divisive. 94 is clearly, and 1978 is great. So we're going to watch the third one, and we're going to talk on Sunday in the afternoon. Don't know what time it is in America, but my time, just after lunch. And we're going to talk all about Fear Street and what we think overall. Back to you guys in the studio. Back to you guys in the studio.
I just wanted to do that on purpose. I just wanted to
Horrible
do that.
people.
Joe, thank you so much, man, for being on here. Even though you're forced to, since you're a Cinema Squad member, you're forced to do one of these. Again, Joe, thank you for being on here. Love your insight, and stay on. We will be talking after the show.
Goodbye, everyone. Activate. Come on, dude. Just give.
This is the best ending to a stream ever.
I freaking love this so much. Joe, we will see you soon. Guys, are you crying, Jace?
Yeah, I'm tearing up over here.
Guys, I want to give you guys a big thank you. I couldn't do this by myself. I'd probably like trip over my words. I wouldn't know what to say, and you guys really have put me in line whenever I don't know what to say. And thank you guys for being here. It's honestly the three of us, and like honestly, I made the thumbnail for this video the way it looks because we kind of look like the Trinity, and that's how I feel about us, you know, especially with the Loki live stream. Like, we're the Trinity, guys, and I appreciate you guys so much. Jace, you weren't supposed to be here, but you are, and you were such a welcome addition. The people wanted you back. I wanted you back. Dan wanted you back. So happy that you made it.
Dude, thank you so much. I know I've always been very jokey about it, but seriously, thank you for not just having me on as a special guest in episode 2, but letting that continue and spiral into what it has. Obviously, I hope that anybody that watches this, it's pretty clear that like I'm very passionate about this subject. I have so much fun with this out of everything when it comes to movies, shows, all that type of stuff. So this has been an absolute blast. Really looking forward for when like season 2 rolls around to be able to do this more with you guys. John, for what it's worth, don't be too hard on yourself. You are a phenomenal host, and it's really been easy to kind of bounce off of all of you. I think we just have really good chemistry. But right, this has just been really good conversations all around. You do a good job of navigating them on your own, right? You've always done a really good job of when we reach kind of a certain point where it seems like it's not going any further, you do a nice transition to something else. So at least I just want to throw that in there too. Dan, my goodness, man. I don't know what this would be if it was, you know, without you and everything. So I only want to throw that because I was focusing on John for so much for a sec. Dan, you demand. There's a reason why Eric throws in the comments all the time. Yeah, I appreciate the absolute heck out of this. It's really been great. I hope that everyone watching has actually, enjoyed it as much as we have had talking about it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to take you guys out because you're my co-host. We're ending together. So Dan, end it up, man.
Yeah. So I second everything you guys just said. John, I think you're a phenomenal. Like, you were really good at these streams, I think. And yeah, it's always great to have Jace on. He gives a really good, point of view, and he knows a lot. Yeah, so I just want to say again, Fear Street Sunday on GeekyHiJynx's channel. I'm really excited to talk about Fear Street. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've loved doing this, and I cannot wait to do some more.
Absolutely, man. Oh, dude, what a bittersweet moment right now.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that I'm ending it with you guys. But if you haven't already, like this video, share this video with your family and friends, and subscribe. to my channel. Till next time, movie fans.